Pratika, I know you as a model, a jet setter. Tell me, you launched Prakti when, and what is the differentiator for your skincare brand, your beauty brand?
Well, we did a soft launch in September 2021. So, I spent years in the fashion modeling industry, and I think, it really taught me a lot about like the power of storytelling, and I really brought that into the brand. I mean, it was all about holistic wellness and beauty, which I grew up with, and I think being in the industry, I just saw that there were so many missing white spaces that I could fill. So I think when I first launched the brand, we started with one product, now we have 10, and it's just about fusing that background, my culture, into the products, making them these really unique experiences. So, I mean, I feel like fashion and beauty is so intertwined, and so that background really, I think, gave me, that foundation that you could really use to make this really creative, unique, emotional experience and brand.
Yeah, and you just had a big launch as well at Bloomingdale?
Yes, yesterday.
Yeah, let's hear more about your company. You have an app, which is a very different business, but yes, what led to that? Tell us a little bit about it.
So I have Study, which is an app. It's a photo editing app, which kind of highlights your everyday. It's super simple to use. But I'm born and raised from Alabama, so I used to make downtown Birmingham look like New York City in a sense, because unfortunately I couldn't book a flight to New York to take all the pics there. So I kind of wanted to create that user experience for everybody else. So Study just kind of helps highlight these everyday moments and things like that. And something that we're big on is kind of putting the social back in social media. So not just taking photos, but taking photos of moments and living out these moments and hanging out with people and networking and then just capturing photos along with it. So it's been really exciting.
Amazing. Well, on the topic that we've been talking about all day today that definitely ties to fashion is trends. I want to talk to you guys all about kind of how you think about it, starting with Hannah, because in our prep call, we were talking about the fact that she must get a lot of freebies, and when it comes to being a content creator, standing out from the crowd doesn't necessarily mean, you don't want to be dressing like everybody else. How do you maintain that distinct style? Would love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely, as an influencer and creator in the States, obviously it's so exciting to be gifted all these different trends, and I obviously want to try them, but I feel like a lot of my wardrobe is probably, let's say 70% capsule and my basics, my go-tos, 15% fun, just cool moments, and then 15% probably trends that I'm incorporating and how I kind of distinguish, I guess, of what my personal style is. And actually I did this for my wedding. I had to take a second and be what is my actual style for my gown, even though you don't I'm sure people look back and they're that was not my style, that's totally fine. But it kind of gave me an excuse to really sit with it and be what is my personal style? And I kind of created a Pinterest board in a sense, and I feel in this day and age, I guess, it's really important to kind of do that, even though if you're not an influencer or whatever, everybody has a brand in a sense. If you're on social media, that's just kind of how it is these days. So for me, I kind of made this Pinterest board, and it wasn't just perfect photos and curated moments. It was what music are you listening to that you associate with me? What quotes that I, as Hannah, say that are kind of goofy and kind of off? What am I wearing? Who is it and what do I want to be, I guess? And so I did that little Pinterest board exercise, and it was really helpful. And I feel a lot of it was just simple, elevated, and me.
Yes, what's signature Hannah? What are some things on that Pinterest board?
Well, it is a little all over the place, which is also okay. I feel being too tied to being perfect is, I don't know, kind of boring in a sense. So I do think a lot of odes to vintage, retro type of vibes is probably on the page, and then a little bit of chaos, and then a little bit of just simple, elevated pieces.
Nice. I love it. Well, Rebecca, when it comes to you and trend, first of all, I feel you have a very distinct look that is LoveShackFancy. You talked about it a little bit in Hello, a fairy tale.
Actually, LoveShackFancy and vintage, so it's a mix.
Nice.
Which I love. But
yes, you're definitely striking a chord with a shopper base, and you're really trending. You're really hot right now. At the same time, you're showing at New York Fashion Week every season these days, and that really calls for newness, a reason to show. Like, how do you kind of strike that balance of like keeping it fresh without deviating from your look and feel?
Well, I think, I mean, for us and at LoveShackFancy, I actually, in the beginning, I never wanted to do Fashion Week. And I grew up I interned at every magazine possible, and then I worked as a senior fashion beauty editor at Cosmopolitan. So I covered Fashion Week for a long time. So it was very, like back in the day, it was a very, specific formula that you had to follow. It was just shows, you sat there, runway, and then you left. So for me, I think once we started to do Fashion Week, it was so important for it to be so representative of LoveShackFancy, and I love to create experiences. I love it, but it's everything. It's about the clothes, it's about the models, but it's also about the guests who are coming, and even the influencers who are coming are getting dressed in looks that are either out now or they're coming soon, and they're just as much to me a part of the show as like the models and the new collection. So it's really, and then it's about like the decor, it's about the music, it's about the cropping, it's about bringing this entire experience to life in that way. So it's just a perfect opportunity to showcase that, because to me the most important thing is about like transporting someone to another world, whether it's walking into one of our stores, whether it's walking, attending a party, whether it's being at Fashion Week, and then even if you're not like actually at Fashion Week, it's the way we cover it on social media. We do like we literally, we show, I don't hide anything. Like I show it all. Like we're bringing everyone into it, following along, behind the scenes at the showroom, the fittings, and it's the hard work that to me goes into, our team works so hard, and to create like one garment of clothing, the amount of hours, it's crazy. So I think that's also really important to show. So it's a celebration, and it's also like a dedication to the hard work. And in terms of trends, we're very much like, yes, we're inspired by trends too, and what's happening, but it really always starts with vintage for us. Like I love vintage so much. That's how every season begins. That's where the inspiration comes from, and then we modernize it to make it feel fresh and new. Are we liking flowing more prairie? Are we liking slimmer silhouettes? Are we, our color palette is typically, it gets more muted pinks but we love pinks, we love soft, beautiful palettes, and then seasonally it changes. So, but it's really very much like a specific core identity that's very recognizable to LoveShackFancy. So I think I'm never going to be like, okay, here's an all black hardcore like goth collection. Yeah. You can only do that. That will never happen, So it's really optimistic, happy, beautiful, and every season has a different twist and a different story to tell. This year we're going more like American Girl, country, we'll see, but it's so fun.
I think you did do a black dress one time, and I was like,
oh no, we have a lot of black dresses. It's just like you won't see a full black collection. You might see a full pink collection, but you won't. It's just we love black. It's not all. It's just that's not it. So
I've been to one of your multiple shows. It does feel like a party. Like they're dancing on the table. Like you go on the table and some days.
Probably.
There were people swinging.
Oh yes, swinging. You never know what you're gonna find.
Paris.
Yeah.
And no, it was just you entered the suite, and it was just this world. You had the feeling of it.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. I think there was
Girls were jumping on the bed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Taking it's like
so fun.
even if it's not meant to be that, it turns into something. So
It's a party.
Yeah, definitely tells the brand story. Well, I have to ask you, as somebody that's a model and you're attending shows, like what do you see as the importance of being there? Your presence.
Yeah, I think the presence is really important because it's the highest level of this creativity and culture. I think it's not just about maintaining that presence, but it's like being a part of these important conversations because the industry evolves so quickly. And I think, with the democratization of all of this information, now you can be front row, now you can share all your stories, and it's like this conversation is not as exclusive. There's so many people that are a part of it, and I think it's just really amazing to be a part of that. So it's, I think with the industry too, it's exciting to be connecting with all these amazing creatives and getting to understand their perspective and what inspires them, because ultimately that's what inspires me.
Yes, for sure. Hannah, will you be going to the shows this season?
I'm definitely going to be visiting some shows. I'm really excited. I'm excited to network and like meet people like what you were saying too, just connecting with people and picking their brains and kind of taking a lot of this inspiration, I guess, and bringing it to my audience at home of like how to incorporate this style or things like that.
Yes, I want to dig in a little bit when it comes to your audience. You were, I know you were on The Bachelor, and I mean, that's kind of, that helps you to build an audience right out of the bat, right? I'm sure that really helped your following. When it came to like, I don't know, catering to that audience or giving them what they want or fueling that following that was emerging, what was your approach? How did you kind of take advantage of that opportunity?
Yeah, first of all, I had no clue that this story would happen when I went on The Bachelor. I was absolutely shocked, so and surprised. It's been really cool that it's taken me here. But once it kind of happened, what's funny is TikTok didn't even exist. Back in the old days, whenever I was on, 7 years ago, whatever. But back then, I feel like Instagram was really curated, and you had to kind of be perfect. And then I was just all of a sudden, literally overnight, like. I swipe on my phone, I was like, oh my gosh, now I have like this platform, and what do I do with it? Like, who do I want to be? And so then I started posting things. I'm like, okay, that gets a lot of likes, so that's my brand now. And it was kind of just like doing these perfect curated moments. And I feel like over the past few years, I've really leaned into being myself and community. And now that TikTok and video and reels, all these different like areas exist, I've been able to kind of really cultivate this community aspect instead of just getting the perfect photo. It's like, I'm getting dressed on the way there, and my shoe's probably broken. It's just like being normal human and kind of like, having all these friends online and stuff is really cool. So I feel like my platform now is kind of just more who I really am versus like what, my platform expected me to be, I guess, as soon as I got The Bachelor. So it's been really cool.
That's interesting. Well, Rebecca, I know you're getting more comfortable or you're getting out there more. I think this has to do with your fragrance launch, and we know that Sephora likes to see a founder out there. Tell me about your approach to creating content and making sure that you're the face of the brand, getting your face out.
Yeah, I mean, I think similarly to what Hannah said, I definitely, like when I started LoveShackFancy, that was when Instagram was really just starting. So that was like my platform, and again, then you weren't shopping on it. It was really just to post that photo, and that was how I started to build the community and to I started off doing little trunk shows, and just to like get the word out there and to sell maybe a one hand-dyed halter dress that way and to connect to people that way. But that was definitely, you're taking that shot, and you want it to be curated. I was like, it's like a magazine. Like this is my background is magazines. That's how you want it to be. I think I started I think I joined TikTok like a year ago, which is crazy. So I was late to the game, but I'm also older. And so, but seeing it, and listen, I have 2 daughters, 9 and 12 now, and they were just like, I can't believe you don't do, I'm like, oh, I'm so anti. But then I think it also really teaches, once I started to learn more about it, I think there are positive and negatives. I think really being able, like the honesty and like I think that part of whether it's TikTok, Reels, social media, all of it, it's really just about connecting. It's like being on FaceTime with someone and having this like extended community be there. You're telling them what's going on. You're no makeup, bland. Like I'm like, I don't know how to do my makeup half the time. Like it's it's a process. Like and it's really kind of what should we wear? What should I wear? Do you want to help me choose these outfits? Like all of that stuff. So leaning into that. And then when it comes to fragrance and beauty, that really has definitely, I think TikTok is so important. Being founder forward is so important. Sephora really they really, push founder forward brands. And even though LoveShackFancy is an established brand in fashion, it was a startup beauty brand. And we did it on our own. We did not work with any licensing, like anyone. So the budgets were like nothing. And so there I am. I'm like, I am free. But it's also, you have to and also, the customers trust me. So, and I don't lie, I'm being completely honest. I'm not gonna do anything that I don't 100,000,000% believe in. So I think that really allowed me to continue to believe in the fragrances, to get into the world, to create this, lifestyle, and to sort of translate the world of fashion into beauty and have them correlate and become one world. Like, so now when we launch a perfume, for example, Secret Crush Vanilla, like now it's all about, I'm like in the creamy, dreamy, like everything I want to see in my closet has to correlate. Like if I'm in that sensibility for the fragrance, I want the whole closet, the bedding, everything to be in that same world, So it's all about the lifestyle and how you create that. So I think connecting, one-to-one with the customers and just putting yourself out there honestly and, you know, getting questions, feedback, like what do you guys want to see? What kind of, I ask those questions too, like what do you guys want the next model to look like? What kind of perfumes? Do you want more gourmands? This is our first one. So just really all of that, like our customers and the community is the best resource that we have. And I love nothing more than connecting in stores or through social media. So I think it's just, yeah.
I love that gourmand is still hot. I mean,
Oh,
that
it
is
is.
on the rise.
Really excited about this vanilla. I'll give you a
Crush
box.
vanilla, secret
Secret
crush.
crush, yeah.
Who doesn't have a
Yeah, you don't need it. It's so good. I'll give you both.
We won't turn that down. Prakti, tell me about like your brand. You had the following before you launched the brand. You're not yet in Sephora. Like, do you feel like you hear sometimes from founders, I want the brand to stand on its own. I don't want it to rely on my following and all of that. But are you the biggest proponent, cheerleader, like you're hyping your brand all the time? How do you balance your content in terms of hyping your brand versus working with other brands?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like we've been talking about, it's super important to be open about your journey as a founder. I mean, I think retailers really like that. They want you to connect with your communities, bring you in, through the process. So there's that part, like that lane, right? And then it's like your personal brand, and it's, the relationships you have with, with just the different creatives that you work with. And I think it's just a balancing act, right? So you always want to align with brands that stay true to your values, and even with like Prakti's values, like it's so important, even for clean beauty, conscious beauty, sustainable packaging, and even working with clothing brands, it has to be the same values. So you can't just pick and choose when those values are important to you. So it's a balancing act in that way, and then it's just a balancing act and being authentic and showing everything about your life. And it's not all about Prakti. I think it seems like it is sometimes, when you're working like 12-hour days and you're focusing on your brand, but in reality, like you're wanting to share about your family, or the other, like if you're working out, if you're meeting your friends. I think it's just nice to be a bit more personal, and that's been kind of hard for me, because when I first started Instagram, it was all about these like perfect curated moments. So it took me a minute to be comfortable with exposing those other sides, and even like talking through my founder journey. So I think it's just, once you are able to be transparent across the board, and you kind of know like your own opinions, your voice, you found your voice, and I think it all is intertwined, and you find that like sweet spot balance, and you just go with it.
Yes. We don't have a ton of time left, but I want to talk to you guys about where you see things going. But in terms of fashion, if you have an audience that's telling you constantly what's in demand, Rebecca, you obviously have a show coming up. You're preparing a collection that will resonate in 2026 as you're looking forward. So let's start with you, Hannah. Like, what is your audience demanding? Where do you see fashion going? Are we going to get faster and faster and faster? God forbid.
I'm really curious to see what you guys think on this too, but something that I think is interesting is kind of this take on like individuality. And like what we were saying earlier, I feel like Instagram used to be curated and perfect, and everybody has to have, this perfect outfit that everybody's repinned on Pinterest, which it will always be a part of, inspiration and stuff. But I do think that there's something where I stop in my tracks when I'm scrolling and somebody kind of styled something different, or it makes you question it. And it's not perfect. It's like this concept of individuality, like kind of having these pieces just because you like them, or like just because your grandma had that, like wearing or accessorizing these fun different ways. I feel like fashion is leading into this, like, if it makes you question but you genuinely love it, I'm like respect. Like I'm obsessed with it. I just think it's cool when people have their own taste and style and things. And it's something that I'm also working on, because I'm obviously saving and repinning. And I'm like, no, Hannah, like forget the noise. What do I genuinely like to wear today? And that's the answer, and that's okay. Instead of asking for advice, or like, me texting me, should we wear this, should we wear this? And it's like, at the end of the day, like, I can answer this my own. Like, nobody else has like a better take on this than myself of like what I like. So I've just been trying to do that. But fashion-wise, I don't know. I feel like the individuality kind of take is pretty interesting.
I agree. I think how would you say the same, something similar? Like definitely, I think you put that a very classic style. Are you?
I do. I love to experiment with trends, but I think I filter it through this lens that feels very much me. I think just right now, I think consumers are going more towards intentional fashion. I think I might have made that up, but what I mean by that is just really, purchasing, brands that just align with their values. I think across the board, and I think that's why you see a lot of cross-pollination between lifestyle, beauty. I think that it's about this feeling that they're creating and that they just want to embody like what fits their life and their own aesthetic. So it's very much more intentional. I think it will be even more. I think that door is kind of already swung open and people are just gravitating towards brands like that. And I think that's why the brands are having so many more collaborations. You see the wildest collaborations and you're like, wait a second, that made sense.
Yes, so true. Are you collaborating anytime soon, LoveShackFancy, with another?
I mean, there will be so many collaborations, yes. There are some big ones coming up. We just had Victoria's Secret Pink that, yeah, so that was just a big one, but we have many more in the works. We do a lot.
Any teasers for what we can see from your show from spring 2026?
Well, I mean, I think I agree with you guys about like the individuality and just really like trusting and being smart with your decisions too. Also because things are getting more expensive and they will, so you really are, and it stresses me out also because like I have to deal with with the direction of the fashion and also with the pricing and to make sure we're happy and we feel like we're evolving, but that our customers are also going to be happy in the end. Things aren't too expensive, which prices are going up, unfortunately. So I do really think that, customers definitely want to connect with the brand that they feel like is their brand, that they feel they can trust, whether it's a founder, whether it's like they know they're going to get the good quality, they know they're going to like the fits, they know they're going to, have something that they're going to hold on to for a long time. And we definitely think that vintage is a huge part as well. Like everyone, even younger girls are getting into vintage. So that is like a big player. So I think that really being able to mix resale vintage into new designer and contemporary and really just like the individuality of like how you style as well. Everyone really wants to have their own take on it, which is so much fun and really cool, whether it's the accessories or you're gonna take a pantsuit but then maybe you're gonna funk it up with like a cool little tank and whatever it may be. So I think that's really important. And then definitely like Americana is a big thing coming up for sure because I definitely see that all over. I mean, we shop a lot of vintage too, and you can even see like all of the Western belts, all of the boot, like it's so hard to buy all this. And we sell in our stores a lot of vintage and different designers and brands like that. So I think that's something that's not going anywhere. It's going to become more prevalent and really just about how you style and how you mix and what decisions you're making, if you're going to buy a top from this brand and if you're going to, have your favorite jeans and then mix it up with a cool vintage belt that you got. So really making it your own, which is kind of the best way to do it.
I actually didn't know you were doing vintage in your stores. So I was going to ask you where you resell online.
Yes, we do. I have a huge vintage collection. I source everything from vintage. So we're opening, everyone has to come. We're opening our first flagship, our Soho store in mid-October in New York City. So we're gonna have some vintage there. We're gonna have a special area downstairs too, and then it will be a curated mix upstairs. So it's gonna have everything, worlds of LoveShack. So it's really exciting. But yeah, and then we send different curated drops to our Nashville store that's a little bit more Nashville inspired, or to Dallas, and then to Aspen, more Western, things like that. So it's fun.
So
we find something different every
week. It could be Americana Western.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. As things get more expensive, the more we can play around with our style, the special belt, as Hannah was saying. But yeah, anyway, get ready for Fashion Week. We'll see what else we see for spring. But you guys, thank you so much for